Happy New Year to everyone. Welcome to the first NoDQ video of 2019 here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. I have your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQvideo. So let's go ahead and get started. First one of 2019 comes from KWYR Sports. Usually each year we can narrow down the possible Royal Rumble winner to 3 or 4 guys or gals. Who are your favorites to win it, and who is a guy that has a good chance to win it that not many are talking about? My dark horse is the Demon Balor. Keep dreaming about Finn Balor, that's all I have to say. I feel the favorites are quite obvious for this year, and keep in mind we still have about 3.5 weeks to go until the Royal Rumble, about 3 weeks. Anything can happen. WWE could change course and go in a different direction, and sometimes we do see a dark horse win, but more years than not, it's typically one of the few people that are the heavy favorites going in. So this year you have Seth Rollins, and if I had to make a prediction, if I had to put money down, I would go with the Architect to win the Royal Rumble. Another option is Drew McIntyre, a guy that is being pushed very strongly right now in WWE. As for the women, I think it goes down to Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair. Or maybe WWE does a Bret Hart, Lex Luger type of finish where they both win somehow and then they both face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. But those 4, I think, are safe Royal Rumble winner predictions. As far as dark horse candidates go, maybe Ember Moon for the women. And as for the men, how about somebody interesting like Batista entering the Royal Rumble, somebody that nobody is expecting? That would be something else. And then we could finally see Batista versus Brock Lesnar, or maybe even The Rock, if you want to call him a dark horse candidate. But I'm not expecting any big surprises. Could be John Cena. Boy, that'll go over well if that happens. I think it'll be Rollins or McIntyre. Probably Rollins, though. This one comes from Michael Smith. Are you excited or intrigued about AEW, Aaron? Well, only a fool would not be excited about this, or at least intrigued, because anybody with a brain knows that the best thing for wrestling is more competition. WWE needs some entity to give them a fight. So naturally, I am very intrigued about AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Like everyone else, I'm hoping they can succeed and they can reinvent the business and bring in new eyeballs to wrestling and make it more popular than it's been in many, many years. They have an uphill battle, but of course I'm excited. If I wasn't excited, what kind of wrestling fan would I be now? And I got this one here from Daza. Could AEW be the one to make WWE change up sets, content, writers, and so forth? It's going to take a lot. WWE is a very strong worldwide brand. They are in no danger of going out of business anytime soon. The brand is a lot stronger than it was in 1995. Creatively, it might be worse than it was in 95, but still, the brand is very strong, and AEW is going to need to really be a major threat to WWE in the sense of dollars, potentially risking WWE from being a profitable company, which is unlikely. It's going to take a lot for WWE to make any real change, unless AEW becomes the hip thing and WWE all of a sudden is uncool. It somewhat is uncool right now, but you know what I'm saying. If AEW can get everybody talking about AEW, then WWE might be forced to make some changes and shake things up a little bit. But that's what it'll take to have a real shakeup. AEW is going to need to be able to make a real difference in the industry and force WWE to make those changes and get up to speed with the current trends or whatever is hip right now or in the future. This one comes from Henry Gomez. With AEW coming up, do you think that there will be many big egos like what WCW had? This is a very valid question and maybe something a lot of people are not talking about. Everyone's thinking, oh, AEW is going to be great. They're going to have these amazing pay-per-views like All In. The talent's going to get pushed correctly. Running a promotion is really difficult. It's easier said than done. And let's face it, professional wrestling is all about egos. Everyone has an ego, and I don't care who you are, whether you're the Young Bucks or Cody Rhodes, you have an ego, and that's what it takes to make it in the wrestling business. And quite frankly, wrestling can be a very cutthroat business as well. So yeah, will everyone put their egos in check for the sake of business and thinking about the greater good? Will that happen? Only time will tell. It will take a lot of cooperation across the board from everybody, thinking about what's best for the company, not putting their own personal interests first. So we'll have to see. There's a lot of people involved in AEW, and that means a lot of egos. Will they all be able to put their egos in check? I mean, even the Beatles could not keep it together. For the Sgt. Pepper album, they all worked together, but we saw what happened when Yoko Ono came into the mix and they did the White Album. Everything pretty much went to shit. Same thing could happen with AEW. They may put out some great material, but if they cannot remain a cooperative entity, then who knows how long it'll last. They could end up going the same exact path downward as WCW. Got this one here from Kyle Allen. With the passing of Mean Gene Okerlund, what are some of your favorite memories of Mean Gene Okerlund? There's a lot of them. I put up a playlist on NoDQ.com. Check it out if you haven't already. But there's just so many of them. He was front and center for so many classic moments in wrestling history. In WCW, he was part of the NWO formation. He interviewed Ric Flair all those times on Nitro. He was just a big part of Nitro. And then going back to WWE, the stuff he did with Bobby Heenan, and just all the interviews that he did over the years in WWE. Gene Okerlund was just one of the all-time greats. And there's not one particular moment that really stands out above the rest. But I do have a place in my heart for that NWO promo. And I think Okerlund just being totally disgusted with Hogan really added to the drama and made the heel turn get over all that more. The fact that Okerlund was just such a pro in reacting to Hogan, and we were all feeling what Okerlund was feeling. He really got that across well. So that might be my all-time favorite moment if I had to pick just one. This one comes from TJS. Do you think that after Drew McIntyre failed in WWE, despite being christened the chosen one by the boss Vince, Vince decided to re-sign him and push him because he didn't want the blemish on his record of mislabeling a superstar? I really don't think Vince had all that much to do with Drew McIntyre coming back. I think that was a Triple H move. I think Triple H wanted Drew McIntyre back, saw how well he was doing on the Indies and Impact Wrestling, saw that he was reinventing himself, he got his body in tip-top shape, and Triple H brought him back to NXT. And I think at that point, Vince probably saw him and took a look at his physique and said, wow, this guy's really stepped up his game. I think there's money in him. And I think that that's what led to Drew getting this renewed push. I don't think Vince was watching Impact Wrestling or the Indies and saying, hey, maybe I made a mistake with this guy. I think it was Triple H, and then Vince saw NXT and saw, all right, there might be something to this guy and we need to give him another shot. Got this one here from Tevin. Why do you think WWE did not give Mark Henry a run with the title before he retired? That fake retirement turned into Cena versus him was a great time to give him a push or a run with it. Plus, Cena would have been 17 belts by now. Well, he did have a run with the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that Mark Henry was never pegged to be a top guy, and he was a solid performer. He was good for a big guy, and he did get better as time went on. but he was never really at that top main event level. And I think with the John Cena match, he was never booked to be world champion. He was merely a transitional opponent for John Cena. And yeah, that retirement speech was fantastic, and Mark Henry took the ball and ran with it, but clearly it wasn't enough to where WWE was going to change up their long-term booking plans and make Mark Henry the WWE champion. Maybe in a different era, they would have done it, but 2013, when that happened, they just were not interested in doing that. Once they're set with a plan, they really don't deviate from it. They didn't do it with Ryback, and Ryback was arguably way hotter than Mark Henry. Yeah, Mark Henry had that great moment, but Ryback was just on fire, yet WWE did not put the title on him, and instead they booked themselves into a corner at Hell in a Cell with CM Punk, and then Ryback slowly lost his momentum after that. Got this one here from They See Me Rollins. Will Nia Jax be the newest superstar to get X-Pac heat? Newest superstar? I thought she already was getting X-Pac heat. And for those of you that don't know, the X-Pac heat is when fans dislike somebody so much that it's not the good kind of dislike. It's the dislike where you want to turn off your television and you don't want to invest in the character because you just legitimately don't like them. I think that is already the case with Nia Jax. Some might argue it's good heat. You know, at Survivor Series, the crowd was booing her out of the building. But I know for me personally, watching her on Raw, it's very cringy. Especially that promo where she was screaming, and I forgot what she said because I try to repress my memories of that. But it was terrible. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It was just such a bad promo. And every time she talks, I just want to turn off my television set, go to the bathroom, and puke my guts out because it's that bad. This one comes from Mr. Yuck. Of all the superstars released or have left WWE in 2018, who do you see making it big in the indies, and which, if any, might return in the future? That is a very interesting question because not a whole lot of guys were cut in 2018. WWE, for the most part, has shied away from letting people go. Now, there were some people that left the company. Enzo Amore, Big Cass, Neville, who just sat out the rest of his contract. Neville, I think, is the obvious guy that's doing the best outside of WWE. I could possibly see Enzo coming back one day, maybe Big Cass, but I mean, so far he hasn't really lit the world on fire in the indies, and Enzo just hasn't really done much of anything on the indies. He's been focusing on his music career, but he's still referencing WWE. So never say never, but yeah, there's not a lot of people to choose from, so it's a really tough question to answer. I mean, we could see Neville back one day, but maybe not. It's really hard to say. Got this one here from Zomygod Ruler. Do you think Seth Rollins is upset that Becky Lynch has the man mantle now? No, I don't think he cares. I think Seth Rollins is very happy for her. I think Rollins is thrilled that Becky is succeeding. You know, she's one of his peers, and Rollins is doing fine. He's got plenty of nicknames. He's the architect, Seth Rollins. He burns it down, you know. Rollins is doing just great. He doesn't need that moniker, the man. Let Becky Lynch have it. She's taking it. She's running with it. Rollins is doing great on his own. He doesn't need it. So, no, I don't think he has any problem with it whatsoever. Got this one here from Smirtaza. Hey, Aaron, when will we see Mustapha Ali versus Jinder Mahal? You know the situations between Pakistan and India, and this match could bring so many Pakistan and Indian viewers. Could you see it happening at WrestleMania? I myself would love to see India lose embarrassingly. For some reason, that sounds like such a mismatch to me. Like, when I think of who do I want to see Mustapha Ali fight, it's not Jinder Mahal. Now, this is coming from some white guy in Portland, Oregon, so maybe in other parts of the world that sounds like a more appealing match, but quite frankly, if you want to see Jinder Mahal versus anybody, I would advise maybe getting your head examined. When it comes to Mustapha Ali, I'd love to see him versus Rey Mysterio. I'd love to see him versus Daniel Bryan in a proper feud. I'd love to see him versus AJ Styles on Raw. I'd love to see him versus Rollins, him versus Kevin Owens, him versus Sami Zayn. Jinder Mahal, it's at the bottom of my list of guys I want to see Mustapha Ali fight. So there you go. Sorry it's not a more positive answer as far as wanting to see those two clash, but I think I can do without Jinder Mahal versus Mustapha Ali. That will wrap things up for the first NoDQ video of 2019. Thank you all for your continued support of NoDQ.com. 20% off this weekend. Head over to NoDQ.com/shirts. Pick up a NoDQ.com t-shirt. The best way you could support the website. Grab a shirt, get 20% off, use the code WrestleKingdom, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. I will see you guys next time.